Thank you, Senator Kruger. So suffice to say that I agree with everything that Assemblywoman Maliataka said, and Assemblyman Cusick, and Assemblyman Fall with respect to the issues on Staten Island, so I won't repeat them because we have limited time. But I just want to say there's a lot of new faces in the legislature this year, as you can see, some of us not so new. I've been here now since 2005, and I just did a little mental calculation a little while ago of how many times and how many MTA leaders sat here before us. So Peter Calico, Jay Walder, Lee Sander, Joe Loda, Tom Prendergast. Pat, you've been here before. Ronnie, I can't, we're like aging together. But over the course of these 15 years, we were told in 2006 that the situation was dire and we needed to pass the Transportation Bond Act, which we did. We were told in 2009 that the situation was dire and we needed to pass the MTA bailout plan, including the MTA payroll tax, and we did. Multiple fare and toll increases over the years, and now we have, again, a dire situation. Even though I think we need to do something, and I agree, I'm a little skeptical about this new plan, because regardless of what we do on congestion pricing, you're going to have to raise the fares and tolls no matter what, because you have a huge operating deficit, that's a fact, and whether or not the congestion pricing is going to produce enough revenue for the capital plan is a little murky because we don't have the details on it. Now, I'm not opposed to the idea of imposing a fee. I supported the Move New York plan. I think that's a better plan. It puts a toll on every bridge, but it's manageable. Everybody's in, and everybody gets something, all 13 counties. And I really would hope that we would be more inclined to support that approach than the approach that's in the governor's budget. I don't think it solves the problem, not for people like myself who live in transportation deserts, and you've already heard how difficult it is. But I just want to put that out there. We've heard this a million times. So I'm a little concerned that we go down this road and we still won't have enough money. So I'm wondering, have any of you ever thought of looking at what's done in other major transit systems like the Underground, where they have congestion pricing to get into the City of London? And the City of London is totally different than New York City. We all know that. It's a historic city, smaller streets. But they also have zone fares, where they have one zone for central London and they have, concentric circles going around it. Has anyone ever looked at that as a possibility of creating a more stable revenue stream for the MTA?
The answer is, Senator, we look at those things all the time. As a matter of fact, in the Kathy Wild group, comparison of other transit systems around the world was undertaken, and there's a section in the report, I believe, on that. But beyond that, the MTA looks at this all the time. London's different, a number of reasons. One is substantially greater aid from the national government than occurs here. One, two, they do have distance fares. I think that one of the principles of the New York City subway since it opened in 1904 is that a commuter in the Bronx ought to pay the same as somebody on 86th Street and Lexington Avenue. And frankly, I don't think, given the fact, the reality that in many cases people live at the end of the lines are lower income, that as a matter of equity or being progressive is something that would be undertaken. But we look at other transit systems all the time. Senator Lieu, I think made the comment, someone made the comment about the apology of the Japanese railroad for being 20 seconds, leaving 20 seconds early. Japan had the experience, obviously, of being devastated in World War II, and the entire infrastructure and buildings and residences being built anew. That was a devastating event for that country, and the same thing for Western Europe. So all these situations are different. Our infrastructure on the Lexington Avenue line goes back to 1904. There's actually a great clip from the Library of Congress that is 1904, the Lexington Avenue line operating. And the subway cars are a little bit different, and people, mostly men on the platform, are dressed differently, and most of them have hats on.
Right.
But other than that, the infrastructure looks the same, and that's one of our issues.
I don't want to cut you off because I only have 30 seconds. I do want to follow up, though, on the concerns about the toll, the fines instituted on people who don't have an Easy Pass or their Easy Pass is underfunded. The concern I have is I can't figure out where the authority was granted to the MTA to impose these excessive fines. So first you get the toll in the mail, then you get a $50 fine, then it's another one, then they suspend your registration. This creates a real hardship hardship for people. And the idea that everyone who drives a car is rich is something that we need to move away from. People struggle every day to get to and from work, and the next thing you know, you're losing your job because you can't get to work anymore because you can't drive your car. We really need to look at that. It's unfair. You know, if you jump the turnstile, there's no fine, there's no penalty, you don't even have to pay the fare. But if you don't have money on your Easy Pass because you haven't gotten paid this week, you lose your registration on your vehicle, it's patently unfair.